Hey everyone, and welcome. So let's talk about a huge challenge we all face, turning these mountains of just chaotic text into something we can actually use. Clear insights. Well, today we're going to dive into a tool that does exactly that, Azure AI Language. Let's jump right in. Seriously, just think about it for a second. We are literally drowning in text every single day. I'm talking about customer reviews, endless social media feeds, news articles, all those internal docs. It's just a constant flood, right? So how on earth is anyone supposed to keep up with all that and find the real meaning buried inside? Well, that's exactly the problem that a service like this is built to solve. I want you to just imagine, what if you had a tool that could read, understand, and organize all of that text for you and do it like instantly? That is the fundamental promise of Azure AI Language. It's an AI that's been built from the ground up to really get human language. Okay, so what is this thing officially? Well, at its core, it's a cloud service from Azure, and its entire job is to help you pull valuable information out of text. And I love this analogy. The best way to think about it is like having this whole team of super fast, tireless researchers. You can just hand them a mountain of documents, and they'll read it all and come back with exactly what you need to know. But here's the thing, it's not just one magic trick. Azure AI Language is really a whole toolkit. It's like a set of distinct superpowers that you can use to slice and dice text in all sorts of different ways. So let's break down what these core features actually are. All right, first up, probably the most basic but crucial skill, language detection. It's super simple. You give it some text and boom, it tells you what language it's in. Is it English, Spanish, Japanese? You don't have to guess, it just knows. Then we've got key phrase extraction. Okay, this one is awesome. Think of it as your automatic summary tool. So instead of you having to slog through a huge document, this feature just pulls out the most important words and phrases. It gives you the main points, just like that. It is the ultimate TLDR solver, for real. Okay, but understanding text isn't just about what's being said, right? It's also about the feeling behind the words. And that's where sentiment analysis comes in. It doesn't just read the words, it actually figures out the tone. It'll score the text as positive, negative, or neutral. I mean, this is absolutely perfect for things like gauging customer feedback or understanding public opinion by scanning thousands of comments in just a few seconds. All right, now think about this for a sec. When you read a news article, your brain just automatically picks out the important stuff, right? Like who was involved, where it happened, which companies were mentioned. Well, named entity recognition, or NER for short, does exactly that, but at a massive scale. It scans text to find and categorize all these specific things: people, places, organizations, you name it. It's all about putting structure on that unstructured mess. And then entity linking takes that a whole step further. So let's say NER finds the word Paris in a document. Cool. But are we talking about Paris, France, or Paris, Texas? Entity linking is what answers that question. It doesn't just find the word, it identifies the specific, unique thing it is, and even gives you a link back to a knowledge base like Wikipedia. So you get that crucial context and there's no confusion. So, okay, these AI superpowers are obviously really powerful, but the big question is, how do you actually get your hands on them? How do you put them to work with your own data? Well, the good news here is that it's probably a lot more straightforward than you think. For any developer out there, it really just boils down to three main steps. First, you hop into your Azure account and create the language resource. Easy enough. Second, Azure will give you two things: a unique address, we call that an endpoint, and a secret key. And then third, you just use that endpoint and key to start sending text from your app over to the service. That's really the whole setup. Now, when it comes to that third step, actually talking to the service from your code, you've basically got a couple of ways you can go about it. It really just depends on your project and what you're comfortable with. Let's stick with an analogy. Imagine you're ordering custom furniture. On one hand, you have the REST API. This is like writing a super specific detailed letter with all the instructions yourself. That's kind of like the JSON format. It gives you total granular control. On the other hand, you could use an SDK for a language like Python or C#. That's more like using the company's pre-made order form. It simplifies the whole process because it gives you these handy code libraries that take care of a lot of the nitty-gritty details for you. So when you boil it all down, the most crucial point is this. It doesn't matter if you're trying to analyze customer feedback, sort through a million documents, or monitor what's happening on social media. Azure AI Language gives you the power to take that chaotic, overwhelming flood of raw text and turn it into structured, organized, and genuinely useful information. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If you had the power to instantly understand any text you wanted, from all your customer reviews to your most dense internal reports, what's the first question you would ask it? What hidden gems, what opportunities do you think you'd uncover? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.